You just caught me, caught me fixing my hair.
Okay. Your hair looks lovely. Big and
Thank you.
fluffy.
I was just thinking about how there's now too much of it and I should get it cut in the new year.
New year, new me? Is that the thing?
I mean, it is a thing, but it's not really, it's more just because ever since I got my hair cut really short, I now can't stand it when it gets super long because I have a lot of hair.
You do.
It grows a lot. And I found some more pictures of me when I had like proper long hair. And I was like, God, it just feels I can feel how heavy it is just looking at these pictures. Get rid of it.
It looks gorgeous.
Thank
gorgeous. You. I saw you with long hair because you sent me a picture and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, it was lovely, but also really heavy. And as soon as I got it cut off, I was like, oh, never
going back. Fair. Completely fair. And here I am. And now I didn't use any products and anything. So my hair is literally just like...
Love the middle parting thing you got going on here.
It's always happening. So I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, my parting is here, like my natural parting. I part it over to the side.
Fair. Mine's in the middle.
It's like closer to like here.
Okay.
So it goes naturally.
Nice. Welcome to the Hair Podcast.
There it is. That's my actual parting.
Hey. Nice. Oh, I mean, it looks good. Like that is
back again. It wasn't cut to be made like that.
Fair. Do you want to introduce our lovely podcast listeners?
Yeah, right. Anyway, hi everyone. Welcome to All the Films We Judged Before. I'm Katie, and that is the amazing Lily Kay.
I see what you did.
Did you see what I did there?
It was glorious. I take it.
Mm-hmm.
I will start off with saying that, as you can tell from the title, and already if you clicked on the video, you're basically kind of fucked. But it's a spoiler. It's going to be a spoiler review of Spider-Man No Way Home. So we warned you in advance. So please
just
don't...
like flash spoilers on the screen a couple of times.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that we really understand. We're talking about all of it. There's a lot of big things that happened in this movie.
So don't come at us in the comments saying that, oh my God, why did you spoil it? Hey.
We warned you. Any first step further you took, your own dang fault.
It's your fault. It's also a spoiler for Hawkeye because I wanted to talk about Hawkeye.
Yeah, I have watched all of Hawkeye now. Yeah. I mean, up until what's released. Yeah.
Oh my God! I just realized that you should have recorded on Wednesday. It's Tuesday now, guys, because that's when the last Hawkeye episode comes out.
Well, you said we couldn't record on Wednesday.
I know. It's my fault. I got it. But yeah, we're still gonna talk about Hawkeye a little bit before we talk about Spidey. And you finally watched it, so I will start right there. And
it was literally last Wednesday. I was like, all right, I'll finally get around to watching because I was really tired, actually, because that Tuesday I had watched the first episode of The Witcher on the fan premiere, and I went to bed at 2, and then I woke up at 8. And I was very tired. And then I went to sleep for another 3 hours after we were talking about it, because you were like, oh, you have to catch up. There's something that's revealed in this most recent episode we have to talk about. And I went, I didn't burp. I just said, all right, maybe I'll watch it now. But what I did instead was I went back to sleep for 3 hours. It was needed.
Fair.
But then because I was sleeping on the couch that night, I used the opportunity to watch the very big TV that we now have in our living room.
Nice.
Well, and I was like, I should enjoy it in all its glory. And yeah, this is very good. Very good.
It is.
It's a fun show.
It is. And it's well, one of them wasn't really a big surprise, as I already told you, because
the internet told me that one. I was like,
yeah. I mean, Yelena is back, obviously, and if you guys watch Black Widow, that was implied that she's probably gonna pop up in Hawkeye.
I was talking to Mum about this. She goes, I should probably watch Black Widow, huh?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I should too. I just haven't yet.
You should. Yeah, and Doctor Strange, just to be on topic.
We'll get on to Doctor Strange because
and yeah, so Yelena wasn't a big surprise. It was still a very welcome surprise. I was like, she's back.
She's very fun. I will say she's very fun.
She's very fun.
It's my first time in New York.
First time in New York. What should I see? Important questions. Look, it's completely fair.
She's just very cute.
Oh, very.
I make macaroni. You want? You were taking too long to get here.
It was still good. Such a good scene. But there are and I can now finally talk about it. The scenes that made me cry. It's gonna be
like
oh. I'm listening. What do you think?
Oh god, I have to. I watched it all at once. So I'm still trying to remember. It was. I mean, it's definitely the one in front of the plaque with Hawkeye talking to Nat in the graveyard. That one, yeah. Definitely. I can't remember if it's in that episode, but was the other one like the one that she's talking to her mother, like the beginning? That's one of the only ones. Again, it's now been a week, and like I said, I finished it at 2 a.m.
That's fair. No, I will tell you. Yes, one of them is that scene when Clint is talking to Natasha. All of them are Natasha related. Where I cried.
That makes sense. The one in the Christmas party that they had, and that one. Yeah. That was the other one. I was like, yeah, she definitely got it.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. That one was the one where I didn't even realize I was crying for a while. I was sitting there, and I think just the scene set up, and Haley Steinfeld and Jeremy Renner being so much in the moment, and I loved how Jeremy's soul came through basically in that scene. Like it broke my heart when Kate was keep pushing for the big thing, like, you can tell me what happened, it's a good story, and then as he says, like, it's not a good story, the shot that he didn't take, and I was like, oh god. And I don't know what hit me, but you instantly knew that it was about Natasha. And I just suddenly realized that I was leaking from my eyes very heavily.
That whole sequence beforehand, though, was so joyous, because it was just sort of like, hey, I don't know if we're going to be able to get you home for Christmas, but we'll at least have a bit of Christmas stuff here. And it's like, oh, this is so cute.
It is. It was so. I love when Marvel does things like this, because we truly need in for these heroes. And the other one was also it was in episode 5. When Yelena starts talking about Natasha, and my sister saved everyone, and I was like, fuck. And just stop it. Yes, it was, oh god, it broke my heart. I don't know, it's hitting me very hard, especially if you watch the Black Widow movie, Katie especially.
Jesus.
It's
wow.
It hits even harder. But I just had to realize that I really love Scarlett Johansson as Natasha, and it's but these shows are doing this on purpose to make me very sad and depressed. That the original 6 is like, it's now just Jeremy Renner, Hulk, which is Mark Ruffalo, and Thor, which is Chris Hemsworth, that left, and we lost Natasha, Steve, and Tony. And I'm like, stop fucking remind me, please. I love these newbies, but at the same time, I'm like, why are you doing this, Marvel? It's so cruel. But altogether, the first episode was a bit like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this kind of stuff. Like, I was on edge, but then as it picked up in episode 2, which the first 2 obviously came out together, and then episode 3, I was like, yes.
I will say, and I'm finding this more and more and stuff at the moment. The whole laughing sequence made me very happy, and the fact that they brought it back again as well, it was like, not only was it, but I get very annoyed when things nowadays put nerd stuff in just to make fun of it. Yeah. And that's sort of like, look how fucking weird these people are. I'm like, oh, go away. Nobody wants it. Why? One of the reasons why yes, Riverdale has been garbage since the beginning, but it was at least kind of fun garbage.
Yeah.
And then they brought in like this weird D&D cult plot in season 3, and I was like, are you really trying to bring back the Satanic Panic right now? Is that what you're doing? Is that what you're doing right now? I'm not doing this. And I just got really annoyed and I stopped watching. So when it just, the fact that this is sort of done with so much sort of love and joy, where it's just sort of like, these people are having fun. And the fact that he gets into it, it's quite cute.
It is. It was
the whole slow motion. It's the really loud slow motion goodness.
Yes.
Oh god,
it's very
cracked
fun.
me up.
It's very fun. It is very fun. And we're gonna get the last episode tomorrow, which is gonna be interesting, and I will probably tweet about it, and we're probably gonna talk about it one-on-one. Sorry guys, you're not gonna be part of that. But a very important person is coming back, and I'm so happy that I was suspecting it.
It was I sent it to you as after it happened because I was like, got part of the way into the episode and they kept referring to this like big guy, and it was like the side of him that you saw, and I was like, no, it's not who I think it is. And then they finally did the reveal. I was like, holy shit, he's back.
He's back. If you don't
talking
know,
obviously about Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, or Wilson Fisk, who obviously, and yet another piece of perfect casting done by Marvel's Daredevil on Netflix.
Yes.
And who we wouldn't have been. It's like, you can't. It's, come on. He's so good.
He's honestly, he was the perfect choice for Wilson Fisk. He stole the show a lot of times in Daredevil. I'm not gonna lie.
Vanessa.
He's very.
I want you to be my wife.
And the big question is, which we're gonna get an answer for tomorrow, is are they gonna make the Daredevil series canon?
It's like, if that's true, how did he get out of prison again? Why is Matt not losing his mind over it?
Maybe he is.
These are all he probably is.
He probably is. But and I think now we can slide towards Spider-Man. Spoilers, just as with Hawkeye and everywhere. Spoilers.
But these are more intense spoilers.
Yeah, more intense spoilers.
Which means, Mum, because if you've watched this first part because you wanted to hear about the Hawkeye stuff, stop watching now. Unless you don't mind Spider-Man spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay. So, because I'm saying that because we had a discussion. She told me that she couldn't remember what this big reveal was, and I told her after I'd seen Spider-Man that it's like, oh, it's the introduction of Kingpin or Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk back into the. She was like, oh right, yeah, I didn't realize that was kind of like that much of a reveal, that sort of stuff. And I posited, it's like, oh, I wonder how much of the Daredevil stuff is going to be in. I can't remember exactly what it was, but she brought up Matt, and it's like, oh, I wonder if we're going to see him again. And I went, don't say anything. It's just like, swallow it down.
And I will take the chance here and say, I told you so. I
mean, here's the thing. I was definitely in the denial camp just because I didn't want it to like feel.
But I wasn't.
only because it was like I sort of, if I could form a sentence properly, that would be
That's
great.
Fine. It's okay. Take your time. It's okay. We're not rushing.
I kind of put myself into a sense of like, this may not be real. We're going to believe that until proven otherwise. So that when it does, if it does get proven otherwise, then it will be way more joyous. So when the scene came up, because I'd seen the pictures, I saw especially the one of him at the table.
Yes. I saw that one as well, unfortunately.
And I was like, this looks very real, but I'm going to just sort of put it to the side. And when it got into the scene, I recognized the setting immediately. I was like, holy fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't take very long for him to like smash down the cape in front of the camera. Like one of the first of many in the theater.
Yeah.
Fucking him.
I still went crazy. Like, don't get me wrong, I was just as happy as everyone else. But
The cinema was so quiet. So there was nobody like making any like reactions. And so I was sitting there just like I wouldn't say anything, but I was like, there was a bit of happy flapping.
I will say this, that in the UK, it's generally true that usually cinema is very quiet, which is, I love it. Love it. I respect UK people for that. And this was my first time, because I've seen Endgame, obviously in the UK, but I saw Infinity War here. And even in Infinity War, it wasn't this loud. The reactions. Like, okay, one of the greatest reaction was like at the end when Bucky disappears, and then we just go and everyone disappears, and I'm not joking. The room was silent, like dead silent, and you could just feel this heavy curtain just falling on everyone. We were just like, you could hear people crying, me among them.
The trouble with my local cinema, which I love to death, I really love my local cinema. I just find it to be very, because it's quite small and it's an independent cinema, so it's just nice for me to go to and that sort of stuff. But it's in the middle of our little town, so it's not like the most like place. It's not the place where you think like a bunch of Marvel fans are going to get really, really loud and nerdy about things, right? It's going to be mostly families bringing their like kids and like some guys who happen to be available at 1:15 in the afternoon, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not going to be your crowd of like, you know, really intensely vocally nerdy people.
Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting there to be that much. I will say that during Endgame, like I was the one crying the loudest in the cinema. I didn't think I was crying that loudly, and then Mum after the movie was like, "You were crying very loudly." I went, "Oh,
yeah."
I was sad.
Yes, I was the same, but that's what I mean. Like, you know, I watched Endgame in one of the Woo cinemas, in a big fucking screen, full. Like completely full, and you know there were reactions, but it wasn't as loud as this one, because this one, like here, I was very surprised by it, but everyone went crazy, and I mean on everything that was meant to be a surprise, meaning that even on Matt, which I didn't know that Hungarian folks are into Daredevil as much as elsewhere, and as much as myself. So I was surprised, like, you know, oh, Matt got a reaction from you, okay. So I wasn't the loudest. Okay, that's good. I think I was.
I was also in what they call the lounge, which is the sort of screen they have with. It's got less seats, but they're all recliners.
Yes. Oh,
very I love it. And I know them, but tickets are more expensive. But God, it's so nice. Plus, people before the movie starts, they come over and you can make an order to like stuff you want to eat through your seat, so you don't have to wait at the bar. It's great.
Boy, I'm gonna visit you just for this.
Yeah, it's so good, honestly. I would love to take you to my local cinema. Honest to God.
The day will come, Katie. The day will come.
But the only time I actively, so it's like it's harder to see like big reactions because a lot of people were behind me, and there was like a couple of kids next to me, but like for the most part, it was kind of. I was quite insular in terms of like being able to react. The only reaction I saw was the guy sitting next to me, pardon me, when the post-credit scene came up. And I know I don't want to jump around too much. The first one.
Okay.
Yes, the first one.
Yes.
With the
you can talk about it. It's spoiler.
What Eddie's been doing.
What Eddie's been doing
this whole time. And I saw the guy next to me really, really quietly just go but like not up here, it was like right down in his lap. It's just like I just saw him like mini fist bump, and I was like, yes. Thrilled.
Well done.
But to go back to Matt, I will say with the other stuff that happens in the movie, I genuinely forgot until like the last 20 minutes of the film that we had that Matt reveal within the first half an hour. Like it happened, I was euphoric, and then it just slipped my mind entirely. And then like the credits started running, I was like, fuck, Matt was in the beginning of this movie.
But the thing is, and you know, let's just get into the whole stuff, I believe. Just the whole Spider-Man.
They're in it.
They are in it.
They're in it.
They're in it. It wasn't just some rumor and nothing like that. They are actually
Andrew
in it.
Garfield deserves a fucking Oscar just for his performance in telling people he's not in Spider-Man.
Oh my god, that poor guy. I feel so bad for him.
I genuinely was like, I don't like. There were a couple of them where I was like, I do believe him.
And by the end, like as we were getting closer to the movie, I was like, yeah, they're not gonna be in it, and you know, Marvel, for everyone is gonna go crazy because they are not actually in it. And I was like, yeah, maybe Tom Holland is right. Maybe we just have to start believing him. Like, you know, they're not gonna be in it.
Good job, Tom.
Yeah.
You did a good job.
Well done. I was like, because
you've learned well.
And even though I saw the spoiler pictures, which I honestly, once again, I will bring up this article and I will find it and I will put it in the description because I think it's very true and it makes me very sad. But people don't like to be surprised anymore. And that's why we have these leaks. That's why we have these fucking spoilers. And I honestly hate it. Like, you know, I still had that surprise and I was still cheering my head off when they actually showed up. But at the same time, I was kind of expecting it after a while. Like, you know,
I didn't mind it so much in this case. In a lot of other cases when things are like so obviously confirmed, I think because there was enough doubt kind of surrounding it that when it was like got to, I reckon the around the time, I think it was when Norman had his sort of shift back into Green Goblin and they had that massive fight.
Yeah.
And then again, it just
it's a spoiler review.
I know, but it's like I kind of want to do things in bits so that we don't, jump around so much. But it's like Aunt May's death, which I was kind of expecting. I won't lie to you.
I wasn't.
I think I had an expectation about it at a certain point. I was like, I think it's going to be Aunt May, but I think it was around just after that point, or around the sort of fight. I was like, there's no way that they won't put them in this now. Like, there's too much. There's too much of an emphasis on the villain side. Like, the only way that this movie can really balance itself out properly and be as joyous as it really wants to be is if they do have them in there. So as it was slowly kind of creeping towards the reaction post Aunt May's death, I was like, oh, it's gonna be. So when Ned finally made the portal, which I love the little setup for that, I was I get tingles in my hands. Like, you should see your position about it. I was like, no, they made Ned magic. The moment you saw him down at that alleyway, I was like, oh, he's too tall.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be Toby first, though. I won't lie to you.
No, I immediately knew that it's going to be Andrew because it just makes more sense, I guess. Like, Toby's. I
didn't really think of it in terms of what I just in my head I'm like, Toby came first, so he would turn up first. That's the kind of sort of, I guess, internal logic I had going on. I wasn't thinking about it that hard. I would put it that way. It was a gut sort of thing.
Yeah, for me it was like it made sense because I think that there are just so many people that love Toby's Spider-Man more, and if he would have showed up first, then Andrews would have been a bit of still cheery and whatnot, but he had to show up first. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I don't know how to do this properly. I was going to.
Let's start it. We should be starting at the beginning.
Okay,
just
because that's the point I want to bring up about Toby's one. But you navigate this so that I don't just go, oh, and another thing.
Let's just start with, let's do initial thoughts, how did you find the movie and whatnot, and then we can go from there.
Okay. Well, I mean, I thought it was great. There's a lot of things that I think they do a really smart job of in this movie, actually, in terms of big picture stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I said this to you. I'm going to skip right to the end because this is quite an important initial thought. But the sort of erasure of Peter Parker within basically the minds of every major MCU character really brings him back down to normal Spider-Man levels. And it means that Sony can then just do whatever the fuck they kind of want. And the MCM, you could also do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, basically.
It's kind of that place that they've really made a level playing ground. They brought him right back down to where he should, his initial, this is who Spider-Man is. He's a poor kid in a little apartment who can't keep a job because he's too busy out being Spider-Man the whole time. He doesn't have any of the Stark tech or anything like that. he's just a guy, right?
Yeah.
And I was sitting there going, this is very smart. But at the same time, I was very sad.
Oh my god.
Because I'm like, no, Peter, you can't stop doing this to me.
Yeah.
I do think that if there's any subsequent ones with Tom Holland, because it seems like all the producers really want that to happen, but Tom's a bit like, I'm not saying yes to anything.
I mean, he already
at the
did say
moment.
yes.
So... But he's been quite sort of like, I don't know what my future in this is, sort of thing. I think he's got a sense of like, I don't really want to think about it right now because we've just finished it. Let me take a break. That kind of vibe. That's the impression I'm getting off of him anyway.
Yeah, but they already announced that they're gonna make another trilogy with him.
No, that has been sort of slightly recanted. Basically, Amy Pascal got a bit ahead of herself, and the folks at it was sort of like they're in like very early talks, basically. So it's like, yes, they may be making another Spider-Man trilogy. Whether or not Tom decides to come back to be more Spider-Man is up in the air, and I think it's based on what the hell he decides he wants to do, because I think he deserves a break for a bit. That's the thing. But it means that now they have kind of a sort of a blank slate to do whatever the hell I want. And if they do decide to do this like second trilogy with Tom Holland and they bring back all of those, there's just, I feel like there's no way that there isn't going to be like a whole MJ being like, hang on a second, and then just figuring it out and just like getting it, like forcibly getting those memories back, that kind of thing. I get that. That's the vibe anyway I got. But yeah, the whole thing was joyous. It's like fan service at its most fan servicey. I mean, it really was. They were just sort of like, fuck it.
But the best way possible.
Oh yeah,
I think they did. So I loved it, like every minute of it. There was no stopping anything in it, basically. Like, it's just from starting from Matt, which was, oh Jesus Christ, he's back.
I love that they had him like catch the brick.
One of my favorite scenes, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, oh yes.
It's the I saw somebody make it, because obviously what people are like, no matter how many times you tell them you shouldn't, there's still going to be stuff filmed in cinemas and it'll end up on the internet. There was like one of those really low quality, somebody made a GIF and then just put, wait, shit, this guy's literally Spider-Man. Why did I do that? Well, look at him. It's like, how did you do this? Like, I'm a really good lawyer.
I love that line. I was like, yep.
Yeah, it is. That's my boy.
Yep. That's Matt. That's Matt for us. I love that scene. It was just perfection, and it was a small cameo, and I think it was completely fine like this. Like, I didn't have any problem with it being short. But then it just kept coming. Like, even though we knew that the villains are gonna be back, it was so good to see them pop up for the first time, and then we obviously get Otto at first, and then hello Peter. Shit, I was like, god damn, this is so good already.
It was one of those things where, like, I've seen this in the trailer so many times. I did love like the it's like they have that hello Peter in the trailer so much. It's the fact they cut her back over to him and goes, hi.
Hi.
Do I know you?
And everything in that fight scene was just perfection, especially when he realizes that with his tech attached to the tentacles things, what is it? He can actually control it too. I was like, that's my smart Peter Parker, my smart Spider-Man I love so much, because that's Peter for you. He's incredibly smart, so it makes sense that we realize this then. But what I initially loved the most, not just these two guys coming back, obviously, that was like, tears again. but they wanted to help the villains and give them a second chance. And I was literally like, this is such a Spider-Man thing to do. And I'm so glad that they are putting it in there, because I think they choose the villains very, very well, who to bring back. Because in all of their cases, it is so true that there was good in them still, and Peter saw it in the origins as well, especially with Otto, obviously, or Sandman as well. But it was just nice to see that their main goal was to help them and to give them a second chance. And I was like, oh, I'm already crying. Just stop doing this. But it was a second chance for Andrew Garfield's Peter as well. And
I deserved this whole time.
Yes. And I love that Jamie Foxx could reprise his role as Electro, because I honestly think that he's just great in whatever he does. So I was like, it was a joy watching them. But everyone was like just so good.
Sorry.
Don't die, please. Just
take the water.
Yeah, just drink a little. But obviously, I grew up with Toby as well, so I just loved all of it. Was just so perfect as they put it together.
I want to talk about Toby.
Yes, let's talk about Toby.
I was talking to Chance about this.
Oh,
and we both agree he's very odd in this film. It almost feels like there is the way that Chance put it is that he seems like he's stoned the entire time. There is something very, I don't know, it's like I was obviously so glad to see him.
Yeah.
But he, on the level with everybody else, does not feel like as strong an actor. Huh. There's just something about him in it. I was like, what are you doing?
I mean, he was running around telling everyone who asked that he is in it.
Yeah, but he was like, I got this sort of, like when he popped up, I was like, I mean, I'm thrilled to see you, but what's going on here? Like, what are you doing with your whole vibe? It feels very strange, and maybe it's just because he's like, at this point, kind of world weary Spider-Man. He's very calm, but it doesn't feel like he's actually acting very much. It does feel a bit like he's just some guy that they picked up, even though he is obviously Toby.
I never thought about it, I guess.
I know. We were just sort of like, there's some vibe off of him in this that feels very odd.
For me, I think his vibe was a very tired Peter and Spider-Man. Like, I think
sort of like, I'm here now, I guess, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
In my head, his Spider-Man here was almost the same as Peter B. Parker in Into the Spider-Verse. Like, he just had enough of this shit kind of thing.
But he's not wild weary. He just seems sort of like
yeah, but he's if you look at it that way, he's the oldest and he's so I don't know if I picked up the same. It was very strange, I will say this, but I think he changed a lot in general as well. Like, his face and everything is like it felt a bit different.
I would just say I think it felt like this sort of comparatively. He's like, I mean, obviously he's not boyish. It's been 20 years since he played Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But like there's still like obviously there's such an intense boyishness about Peter, our Peter,
yes,
Tom Holland Peter in this one, because he is still like a real child. But then you've got Andrew Garfield, who just has that kind of boyish nature in general, despite the fact the man's 38. I still don't understand.
Oh God, don't get me started on that one, okay? I just don't want to get into that talk.
What? He looks so good. But like he's still got that really sort of boyish, sort of sarcastic Peter Parker kind of nature. And in comparison to Tobey's, which doesn't have the same vibe, there was sort of a sense of like, this feels a little odd. But I like it, but it feels a little odd.
I'm not gonna say it didn't, because it did a little bit. But I think for me it was just more of like a relaxed kind of version.
So just sort of like, I guess I'm Spider-Man still, again.
Yeah. I'm back, bitches.
Although I will say, Andrew Garfield, what is he? Spider-3, as they're like about to go like zoom back to their own, and I'm like, I love you so much.
Yeah. Come on. But yes, so now we can get into the deep. Well, we already spoiled almost everything, so but like favorite scene, favorite whatever. Like let's get. I'll
say first that I really liked that they didn't cop out on anything. It wasn't like people just turned up to like say hello. I mean, other than Matt, but like Matt, that was just sort of more to be like that felt more like Charlie is Daredevil. Don't worry about it, guys. Because she kind of mentioned before, but like then we got to see it, which was nice.
Yeah, exactly.
But with the actual like Spider-Man villains, they all had like really integral like plot stuff. They all had like character sort of things to go with. The only thing I didn't quite understand is why Sandman went off when Goblin turned, because it's like he wanted to go home.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a bit.
That's
weird.
the only one that doesn't quite make sense to me.
Yeah, I like, think I have to watch it again. Yeah.
Any minor criticisms that I'd have with this movie are like the tiniest little things.
Yeah.
I'm like, so it's like, but I was really worried about was when I realized that for sure I was like, there's no way they can't have the Spider-Man in this film. I was worried that they might turn up for like a scene or two and then they go away again.
Yeah.
But no, they're like there for ages and they really hang with them for a bit. Getting them.
They are there for the whole end game. See what I did there?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yes.
I liked the fact that you got to see them really go for it. I love the fact that we got to see Andrew Garfield act like this sort of like really like still heartbroken Peter who couldn't save Gwen. And oh my god, no! I mean, we all knew it was going to happen. Like the moment it turned up in the trailer, when you see MJ falling, it's like save her, and he's going to do it to kind of redeem himself from Gwen. And then it actually happened. I went, ah.
That's why I lost it the third time, I think, because it was like they landed and he's holding on to her and he's asking, "Are you all right?" And he's already tearing up. And I was like, oh no, this poor guy. And I love that they didn't shy away from that because it was such a huge moment in the second. I will just say this: the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is just not.
Here's the thing. All right, I have only seen that movie once, but I saw it in cinema and I wept at it. It was one of those ones that I wept, serious crying going on. Because we saw it. It was one of the many movies that my friends and I used to go like on the last day of term sort of things, like whether Easter, Christmas, that kind of thing. We'd go and watch a movie after, because we usually finish part of the way through the day, so we'd go like get ourselves like McDonald's or something and then watch a film. And that was one of the ones that we did that for. And I had seen inklings that Gwen was going to die in that film, but I hadn't believed them. Yeah. And in that whole sort of build up to the clock tower, and I was like, oh no. So when it finally happened, I just
oh yeah, obviously.
And I really liked that movie. I don't remember it being bad. And then it wasn't until a couple of years later when people were like, no, that movie's awful. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't remember it being bad at all. I still don't remember it being bad. That being said, there is very much a cheesiness to Jamie Foxx's Electra that I kind of was like, oh. It was kind of like sense memory came back to me. I was like, okay. But I really like Dane DeHaan as an actor.
He wasn't,
and a lot of people hated him. Yes. And I was like, I haven't seen it since I saw it, maybe 9 years ago or something like that. Yeah, 9 years ago. So maybe I'm misremembering things. Maybe I'd have a different reaction to it now. But I liked that movie a lot.
I remember that the reviews came in because I had problems with the first one as well. Not with Andrew. I thought that Andrew was just a perfect choice.
Andrew got his proper redemption in this movie, and I'm so thrilled about it.
So thrilled. But I remember that since I didn't really like the first one, I was like, do I want to bother with the second one? So I waited for the reviews when they came in, and it was like, well, this was shit. And I kind of already figured that they are falling into the same pattern that they did with Spider-Man 3, where there was just too many villains and they didn't know what to do with the villains. And that's what happened here as well, because once again, I will promote one of my favorite YouTubers, Elvis the Alien, who did it's a long video, but it's worth it. He did 1.5 hour long essay on the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, and he goes into detail what was the problem, especially with the second movie, and I think Electro being like a very underdeveloped character, or Harry suddenly going through the same sickness his dad took like what 40 years to die in or something, but he's suddenly completely eaten by it and whatnot, and he can only be healed by Peter's blood, and Peter won't help his best friend for some reason. And
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember the plot.
Yeah, there you go. There were a lot of problems with that movie. Andrew was still great in it, and obviously what makes it great is Andrew and Emma's and so the Gwen and Peter's relationship in there, which is beautifully written and done, and you can I just love their scenes together. But yeah, that last scene in there, it's like so fucking heartbreaking, and it's such like, you know, when you realize that it's just basically just 1 second, like if that web called Gwen just a second earlier.
Oh man.
And it's like, oh my god, and I love that they didn't, well, they kind of did it in the same way here, but he literally jumped after MJ.
He was like, I'm not making the same mistakes again.
Yeah, and just grab hold of her, and I was like, oh my god, this is like
go in, protect the neck.
Yes. Beautiful. But I will also say that I really love their entrances in Ned's home. And Ned's mom.
Lola was the best.
Can we take out the what was it? The spider web. The corner.
It's the fact that he just goes bonk, and she goes, roll around. This is enough bruise. Like, no, it's not. I want you to roll around.
And you know, but yeah, you know, seeing them back, and it was done in such a good way. And I'm not gonna lie, I think I even wrote this to you, that for a strong second I was waiting for a third portal to be open, and they finally introduced Miles as a live action Spidey.
But Miles already exists in
yeah,
Holland's world, because they've met Aaron Davis.
Yes.
That's him. I was like, my brain went Dodger, and I was like, that's not correct. Yeah, so we've got there's the
I know
of
yes
Prowler
yes
does technically exist, and he mentions that his niece, my brain isn't working today, nephew is looking out for his nephew, and it's like, so Miles exists in this universe.
Yeah, obviously. And
so
you know,
I did that being said, I really did love Jamie Foxx being like,
that's what I wanted to say. I told you were black.
You're from Queens. I thought you were going to be black, and the fact that he goes, I'm sorry, man.
I had to laugh at it so much. I was like, that was perfect. I was like, yep. I mean, it makes sense. Oh god, I love this movie so much. It was just
that really made me laugh.
Oh god,
I love the fact that Toby was the one to like stop him from killing Green Goblin.
Oh, let's talk about first. Let's talk about Aunt May's that, because that really.
Yeah, I think I kind of guessed it was coming, because I didn't get the sense of anything happening to Happy, because he just kind of feels like he's there kind of as a like a vague sort of side-ish character. He doesn't feel as important to the plot.
Yeah,
I think when as soon as I had on whatever unconscious level I'd figured that out, when it happened, I was upset, but I wasn't like as curious I thought I might be. And I think it's because I was a little bit anticipating it, not like in the same way that like not my sentence got away from me there. When that happened in the game, I wasn't expecting it at all, and it destroyed me. But I think this time around there was almost a sense of like protecting myself, and I was really sitting there going like, feel. But it wasn't. I didn't quite get to the level I did that I would have gotten when I saw it in the game. I mean, it's still very upsetting.
Well, here's the thing, because Tom Holland talked about playing the game while they were shooting this movie, and
you said this.
Yes.
I don't think that the thing I saw when he said that was that he stole a pose.
Yes, that's yeah, exactly. And I was like, you know, they didn't just took that. Because Aunt May never died in any of the previous movies. Obviously, Marvel was very specific about that Aunt May cannot die. We already lost Uncle Ben. So, you know, it was the first time in Spidey story that Aunt May died in Insomnia games. And I was like, you took a pause, but you took something else, and that's just mean. I wasn't prepared. Because I was like, they sure not gonna kill Aunt May. Like, it's not gonna happen, right? Like even when she stood up from the blast, because obviously it's the Green Goblin that
I
causes
know,
the
I
mayhem.
knew from that moment. I was like, she's gonna fall down again.
Yeah, but I was like, okay, they're not gonna do it now because she was standing for so long now that it's not gonna happen. And then suddenly, oh, I just need to sit down again, and I was like, oh no, hello, please don't do this.
I also think, and I don't think this is an issue with the movie itself. I think this is just I haven't been that immersed in like these Spider-Man movies for a while, so I wasn't that as emotionally connected to this version of Aunt May as I was to previous versions of Aunt May. And not in any way against like Marissa Tomei, who I think is brilliant. And I do really like this version of Aunt May, but there wasn't like as much of an emotional connection for me.
I don't know.
So
I
when
cried
it
my
when
eyes
it
out.
oh, you will cry everything though.
That's true. I can't even argue on that.
No, you can't.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, just for me, I found that there wasn't quite as much of a. I personally did not have as much of a connection to this version of Aunt May. So when that death happened, I was, still upset, but like not to the degree that maybe I would have liked to have been. And I don't think that's a failure on the movie or anything. I think that's just me.
To be fair, I was. It's gonna sound bad, but I'm not gonna say it anyway. I was sad for Peter.
Yeah.
So it wasn't
I think
even...
that's the vibe of the scene. It's like I'm not sad that Aunt May has died. I'm sad that Peter's lost Aunt May.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Like
I think, and I think the thing that made that more upsetting was that at the end he then loses everybody else, and it's like that's just worse.
Yes. And I
He
love the
chooses
shot
not to get them back.
Yeah, I love the shot of Tom Holland's Peter standing in front of the big screen, and J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons is
Oh yeah,
brilliant.
he's still great, still great.
Brilliant. And just standing in front of the screen as he basically says that it was his fault that Aunt May died, that someone died, and I was like, you can't do this. And then I'm not gonna lie, the tears just kept falling, obviously. But when they finally meet up, the three Peters, in such horrible circumstances, losing someone, I was like, okay, yeah, you just want to kill me at this point, it's fine, and it's just,
But I think that's part of the reason why this movie does Garfield such a great justice, is that he gets the opportunity to really react to like posthumously to Gwen's death and how much it's been affecting him this entire time and all that sort of stuff. And then you get that kind of like redemption later on with MJ. I will say I did love also the scene between Andrew and Toby, where he's like, so I've got back issues. Like, it's all right, man, I got you.
Yes.
Let me crack your back real quick.
And I love that.
And then it's like, hey, I don't know, I haven't fought any aliens. I'm lame. It's like, hey man, you're not lame. You're amazing.
You're amazing.
Like, yeah, you are amazing.
And that's exactly how I imagined them during the shooting of this movie. Like, they just loved each other. That's
Such
what lives in my
intense and beautiful bisexual energy that he brings to that version of Peter Parker, which I absolutely. It's just the fact that he's like, hey, I love you guys, and he's like, thanks.
Thank you.
It's like, no, let him be a little bit gay.
It's so pure.
Even if it is for himself, I guess.
It's so pure. I just loved it so much. And
you're in a lot of pain, aren't you? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And then obviously the second, I even tweeted about this, I loved it. Loved it. That the moment it arrived to the American cinemas, which was literally a day after it arrived to Europe and whatnot. Spoilers.
We got it a day before everybody else.
Yeah, obviously. But spoilers just fucking flooded the internet, like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, because people are not afraid of getting into trouble for filming in the cinema. But there's one thing, and I think I mentioned this to you, not sure, that they, I don't know who the user is or whatnot, but they basically mixed the music of The Hunchback of Notre Dame out there Quasimodo's song, the end part where he sings out there, holding out that note, and How to Train Your Dragon's flight music when Toothless first takes the flight, and they mix that two together. And what they did brilliantly, by the way, is that they cut from the previous movies as the different Spideys are swinging by, and then when the How to Train Your Dragon music came in, then they switched to the big scene when they finally realized that they have to sync up their movement and they have to fight together.
I usually work alone. Yeah. I don't know how to work in a team. So I've worked in a team before. I can lead us.
And obviously, when you first saw it, you just in awe. But I saw that scene now so many times thanks to this TikTok thing that I now realize how beautifully it is done. Like, it's masterfully done. Like, I love Into the Spider-Verse because, let's be fair, they kind of...
Yeah, I'm going to say Into the Spider-Verse is still the best Spider-Man movie. I don't think anything's going to beat it.
I don't agree.
No, it's like, I think Into the Spider-Verse has the best emotional core out of it. Like, Into the Spider-Verse, it gets it, I think, more than anything else. This is a very close second, I would say.
I still don't agree. I will tell you why. I will tell you why in a second. But I think I just love that they were just so good together. It was 3 generations of Spider-Man just brought together, and I think this is what Into the Spider-Verse cannot beat. That these guys we grew up in, and the fact that they are actually back, flesh and bone and all, it's just it's gonna be such a feeling always. That's what Into the Spider-Verse can beat, because I love Miles, I love Peter B. Parker, I love everything about that movie, but it's not the same on feeling level or emotional level.
I think that that's two different emotions is the thing. I was like decidedly moved more in Into the Spider-Verse, I think, and it's one of those ones that it's the scene when his dad comes to his room and tells him how proud he is of him. I just weep every time. And I think that the importance of seeing that version of Spider-Man get to be built up will kind of supersede any nostalgia that I might feel for these versions of Spider-Man. Because it's like, I think that there's more of a cultural importance to Miles and his growth, and the fact that this is the first time we got to see him explode and be incredible and be Spider-Man. Yeah. And I think that's more of an importance for me, and I think that has more emotional resonance personally.
I agree on that, but still, it was like such a moment. I think it's especially, as I said, this scene when they realized that I think that's where they clicked. Like, we have to work together to solve this, because until then they were just getting a really bad beating from the bad guys separately, and once they realized that, wait, we can do this together, like, come on, there's 3 of us, we should do it together, I was like, yes. Oh my god, and that scene is just brilliant and perfect. Sure, the leap of faith scene is still,
I mean, yes, that is, I still say that, like, that is one of the best scenes in the movies, but the one that gets me is the one where he's at the door and he can't respond and he has to listen to his dad, and I just like am crying.
Fair. I mean, I cried my eyes out, and I won't even say that, it's so obvious. I did at this point, because I cry on everything, we know. But yeah. I don't know. I always hated this debate, and I had this idea that let's rank all the Spider-Man movies, which we basically did with Tenet as well, when we had our previous Spider Talk, which I will link down below, and you can check it out. It was very good. But I think that I haven't listened back, but I am pretty positive that, first of all, we defended Far From Home, because I still think
I still think it's good, but again, I haven't seen it in a while, but I actually hate it, and I'm like, fascinating.
Yeah, I don't get it. I love Far From Home. I will defeat it till the end of time. I don't care.
Yes, you'll defeat it.
And I think we ranked it on top, and we came up with some very good reasons. I actually met one of my cinema friends because of that podcast episode. That's how we became friends, because I was like, look, you're bashing on Far From Home, listen to our podcast and please reconsider your thoughts on it. And he was like, you know what, fair.
Did I don't think I put it on top, did I?
I think we did.
I wouldn't put it on top.
Not on top. I think it was the second one, like second from the live action, I mean.
Yeah, I still don't know if I put it up that high.
I think we did. I think we all of us agreed that Far From Home was the best. We both have some pretty good reasons, my friend. We did. Listen back to it. Listen back to it.
I don't. It's been a year, so maybe I people change their tunes, but I don't know if I put it up that high. I don't think it's. I don't like. I still think it's a good movie. It's and all that sort of stuff, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. I got really annoyed around when the new Across the Spider-Verse trailer kind of dropped, or that kind of sneak peek that they did recently. And there was like a bunch of people being like, the superior Spider-Man has returned. It's like, just stop comparing them. People like it. You don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like to compare them. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like,
I love them both.
Yeah, that's it. Easy peasy. I love that they are aging them up. I'm like,
oh yeah, the subtle difference in Miles in that. Oh my god, so good.
Yeah, so good. I was like, oh, thank you. Look, I love animated movies, but I hate when they have multiple movies and they just don't age, and I'm like, but How to Train Your Dragon did that as well. Just saying, putting it out there. I know you don't like it, but I love it.
I know, I'm swallowing it.
But anyway, one last thing before we close down our holiday episode of Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yes,
is we need to talk about Doctor Strange, because
I think he might be the villain of this piece. He fucks everything up.
No.
Yes,
okay.
He does.
No.
Okay. Peter goes to him. No adult told him that he could then call or like talk to any emissions people until. And then when Peter goes to him and say, "Hey, can you give me a hand?" He doesn't ask him for the specifics of what he wants. He just starts casting the spell, and then
because he trusts him.
No, it's about this. If he knows how important and dangerous the spell is, he should go, right, what exactly is it you want from me here? Here's exactly what I'm going to do. And then he blames Peter for the entire thing. He's like, fuck off, Strange.
You're very mean to Strange, and I don't like that.
I don't mind him as a character. I just think it's I think it's more interesting to consider him as like a really flawed and arrogant man.
He is, yeah. That's him. He is, but you know.
I've been in the canyon for 12 hours. Why weren't you helping?
Oh God, I love that. And I love that little, you know, did you open a portal? Ned is like, yeah. And he's like, I love that acknowledgement there. Like, okay. But you know, obviously, the second end credit scene is a trailer for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
It's been pointed out to me that apparently there's a really big thing like to do with his What If episode, and I went, oh, that watched it.
Yeah, I immediately knew that you're not gonna get.
I was like, cool.
Yeah. I was like,
it's the long bearded version with the grey, right? That's the thing that they're okay. I figured that was like, that seems to be important.
Yeah, very, very, very important. And I am. Well, I guess I shouldn't be surprised with Marvel at this point. I am a bit that they are bringing that version of Strange in so quickly after What If.
Okay.
Because obviously it's the full on, like, I don't want to spoil it for you, you know.
I'll get to it at some point. It's What If has never been that high on my sort of priority list.
Yeah, but
that is cool. I just didn't. I honestly, I think a big part of it was like, I didn't think it was going to be that like
I don't.
largely canonically important.
That's the thing. I don't think any of us thought about it that way, but it certainly looks like it. Like, you know, I'm not sure they're gonna pull the same Dark Doctor Strange from What If into the movie itself. It doesn't seem that way, at least. But they kind of already confirmed that Doctor Strange is the villain in Doctor Strange in Multiverse of Madness. You know, it's very interesting. I was
Doctor Strange fucks things up again.
Yes. I am, because he's a broken man. He's a broken man. If you watch Doctor Strange, the first one, you're gonna understand.
Real quick, a note.
Yes.
The only thing I noticed that they actively changed from the trailer to the movie was Wong actually kind of giving his permission to do the spell.
Yes.
I was like, huh,
yeah,
right.
exactly.
I know. I see you.
Yep, that was very smart. I was like, oh, you sons of bitches. And I love how that basically made a bunch of people go, what if that is not Doctor Strange, that is Loki, because Loki would go against, and I was like,
I'm not gonna lie, the one I saw was that maybe he was Mysterio.
Yes,
like,
that's
Mysterio.
one as well. I was like, okay, go off, I guess, with your theories. But yeah, it was lovely to see Wanda back. Who said is living at a different place now, it looks like.
I reckon that's just like,
maybe it's another.
I think it's the technically speaking, they're meant to be the same place, but like maybe the set's slightly different just because whatever reason.
Maybe. But yeah, it looks very, very interesting, and I can see why they said that this is gonna be Marvel's first horror peek into the horror.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's gonna get dark.
I forgot that they said that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, they did. And you know, I am very much interested to see what they're gonna do with it. So that's gonna be interesting. And I was that's the only spoiler I heard coming out of the UK, basically, that the Doctor Strange trailer is the second end credit scene. So I was expecting it.
Can we talk properly about the first end credit scene? Because I did mention it, but I feel like we need to talk about it properly.
Let's jump on it.
I just love that we were like, what's Eddie going to do in this movie? And what he does instead is turn up, get drunk, find out. I'm so happy about, like, I have to say that I sent this to you about a month before the movie came out. I sent to my friends, hey, I just realized that Eddie's coming to a universe where, like, the Avengers exist, and they definitely don't exist in his universe. So he's just going to find out a bunch of fucking silly people in tights went around stealing some magic stones and stop half the universe from disappearing. And it's like, that's literally what happened, except that he also got drunk and Venom wanted to go skinny dip.
Yeah, that's it.
And then he fucked up again.
And then they went home.
And I'm like, this is my favorite version.
But yeah,
ever.
And you know,
I'm sorry, Thinners. I know you don't like them at all, but it's great, and you're wrong.
You are wrong, Tin, and they are great. And I think the fact that Venom left a tiny piece of himself in there, just
nice. I like the concept that we could get, like, Venom,
because I think,
but like, you could still, technically speaking, bring Tom Hardy in to do like Venom stuff.
That's my point exactly. Because here's the thing: the Venom that we are seeing now in the Venom movies are made into an anti-hero, basically. Mm-hmm. Which wouldn't fly with the Tom Holland version of Spider-Man, because let's be fair, Venom and Spider-Man has always been enemies. So I think, say, yes.
I know you go first because I do have a thing I want to talk about properly, but like you finish your thought.
I think what they're gonna do, or what they intended to do with this one, Tom Hardy can still be Eddie, in a Spider-Man movie, but the villain version of Venom, could properly show up. I think that's the plan.
I saw something today, and I really like the concept. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it'd be fucking funny.
Yes.
Is if there was a concept for a Venom 3 movie where there was Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man going up against Tom Hardy's version of Venom, or like some version where they meet each other. And I'm like, that would be fucking mental. Yeah. And I'm so into the idea.
I mean, there's like
the same like weird gay energy that they've got going on with Venom and Eddie in their movies, plus the intensely bisexual energy that Andrew Garfield has as his Peter Parker. Because I mean, and I'm saying this, I don't know if you like, Andrew Garfield has multiple times been like, I think we should make Peter Parker bisexual. And it's like, yes, Andrew. Why did we get rid of you so quickly? That is exactly what he should be doing. I just like the concept of him making an MJ and the MJ being a guy. These are all things that I like. And I just think that kind of chaotic sort of, oh man, what a great little mixing of things. I don't know what would happen with it, but I think it could be fucking mental and I'd be into watching it.
There is a petition now to make Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield. So
put Eddie in it.
Put that in. But I
just want Tom Hardy to do as much batshit insane stuff as he possibly can with this character. It's he turns up for 2 minutes and he's like, let's go steady dip, and he tweaks his fucking nipples. It's so good.
I think I really like to see. I know Tom Hardy loves doing this version of Eddie, but and Venom, but I would like to see the villain version. I'm not gonna lie, like a proper evil Venom is.
Yeah. I mean, evil Venom. I don't want to see evil Eddie. I don't think that, like, I know that, like, it's another thing Chance was saying, or maybe they'll cast a different version of Eddie. I'm like, no. Tom Hardy is Eddie.
I think
and
if
he's a fucking disaster man.
If anyone can do it properly in a villain version of Eddie, that's Tom Hardy as well.
He was suggesting that Tom Cena would be like built enough to be like more like comic Eddie, and I'm like, here's the thing: I like my Eddie being deranged and a bit unhinged and just sweaty and not doing a good job of anything.
Yeah, obviously. But yeah,
he's a disaster, and I love him.
Yeah, I love how they open up things, and I just want to say that keep doing it. Just, keep going. We already talking with my brother when should we see it next, but I think we're gonna watch it between Christmas and New Year's.
I'd love to go see it again, but with the cases being so high in the UK at the moment, we just had to cancel going to see Moulin Rouge for the second time, so I didn't see it yesterday. Again? Yeah, well, we would cancel it. We went to cancel it, and then they got cancelled anyway.
So
shit. I still haven't seen it. That's going to be something I'm going to try and book again in the new year. But the cases are like 1 in 20 currently in London, so it's like. It's really bad here.
Yeah.
Please get your booster shot. If you haven't, everybody can book now. Please go and try. I'm getting mine in January.
I haven't, and I'm still here.
Mum's got hers. Mum had hers yesterday. I have mine on the 10th of January. I don't know whether anybody else. I think my dad had his already like a while ago. I don't know what my brothers are doing, but that's a different thing. Yeah. Anyway, boosters available. It's much the Omicron. Omicron. Omicron? I can never. I always put an extra N because it's not Omni because there's no N in it. It's Omicron.
Yes.
It bypasses a lot of the vaccines that we've already got in place. It's still like you're still like, slightly protected, but you're not nearly as protected. Long COVID is a thing that is really affecting a lot of people and basically inducing a mass disability event in people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about getting sick and dying. It's about getting sick and getting over it and having like big disability for the rest of your life, and that is something we should be trying to avoid with people.
Yeah.
So just get your booster, and but it means that like I'm a bit sort of hesitant about even going to see The Matrix. It comes out in a couple of days.
I'm not gonna
because I really want to see it. But
that's gonna be HBO Max for me. I don't have high hopes for them.
No, I think it looks fun.
I think they are just remaking the first one. It feels like it, so I'm like, I can't be bothered. I'm gonna wait for the reviews and whatnot. I don't think I will watch it.
We haven't had any reviews yet.
Yeah, I think it should happen
because it comes out tomorrow.
No, then it should happen today. I think sometime
Hang on,
now.
Let me see if there's a
check in.
No, there's no reviews out. When's the embargo being lifted?
I have no idea. But there are already some talk that it's too woke.
Oh, I saw that and I was like, great, I'm going to really enjoy it.
That's exactly my thoughts as well. Like, good, I'm going to love it then.
It's like, hey, you guys forgot that the original one was already made by 2 trans women and is absolutely an allegory for being trans. You guys, everybody always forget that one.
I will never get people.
I keep saying, the one that really pissed me off was that I kept seeing the occasional article being like, why Lily Wachowski said no to it. It's like, it's because she doesn't want to. She was like, I've only just transitioned properly and I want to move forward with stuff and like make new things. Yeah. And it's absolutely Lana's prerogative to want to go back and do things that we've done before. Yeah. And it's like, why are you guys making this into a thing?
who knows? Because people.
They don't have to
I
do
guess-
everything together.
Yeah, but that's true. All right. That was our last episode for this year.
Yes.
We're gonna come back in January. I'm guessing probably on the second week of January. We're gonna talk about it and we're gonna let you know, guys. I will also point out. Yeah.
Oh, no, you go ahead. I'll do it after.
Okay. I will also point out this.
No. Hello, you've disappeared.
I know. I did it on purpose. This is my drawing.
Oh, you can buy that.
You can buy this, not just at Comic Cons. I'm gonna put it on my Redbubble, and you can actually have it on your T-shirt and whatnot. So, I mean,
just get it as a print and put it up in your house because it's good.
Yes, yes. So check out my Redbubble.
Can I do my mini review? Because I know you're not going to watch it like anytime or ever. I don't even know. But can I do my mini review of The Witcher season 2?
Go for it.
It's good. There's some issues with it. Sorry, I just got a text from my brother. Let's ignore that for a second. It's good. There are some issues with it. There's some still some pacing stuff, but it's a lot stronger than the first season. Not enough Yaskia. There never is. They just kind of lose track of what to do with him at the end, and I think they're a bit too mean to him. But it seems like he's going to get some really cool stuff in season 3, which I'm very excited about. Eskel fans will be pissed, and have been the entire time I've been reading stuff. Everybody's mad about it. But I really liked it, and I think Henry Cavill does an amazing job this season. And I love Anya as Yennefer like so much. She really fucking kills it. But yeah, it's really good.
Okay.
But really, the thing worth watching is this tiny little clip of Joey Beatty and Henry Cavill kind of slightly nerding out about Warhammer stuff. It's really cute.
Good. I will say that I am more excited to the spin-off with Michelle Yeoh.
Yes, that does look fun. I'm also very interested in Blood Orange and
yeah, because Michelle Yeoh is great.
Oh yeah, I mean, plus it's all elves.
Yes.
Who if you know anything about, they get a shit. It's bad for them.
Yeah.
In this one.
Yeah. So I'm like,
I won't lie to you. I think the second season does do really well. Is kind of pit all the kingdoms slightly against each other, because like none of them are good basically, because it's like you want to be on the side of the elves, and then the elves do something like so horrific.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then obviously Nilfgaard is like in this. I'm going to do a little spoiler here. Nilfgaard kind of takes in the elves on Drangilla's behest at the beginning of this season, but they're still Nilfgaard. So by the end of it, you're seeing like in the third game, people being strung up. For like minor crimes, and the sort of religious fervor that takes over is like, well, they're not good either. And then Redania is obviously just straight up massacring the elves.
Yeah.
And it's like, none of these people are good. Nobody's good. None of these kingdoms are good. Also, Graham McTavish is incredible. As his name is, they call him Dijkstra, but technically speaking, our lovely Dutch friend Nova has pointed out his name is Dijkstra. Because it's a Dutch name, but yes. everybody says it wrong. They say it wrong in the games, they say it wrong in the show, but he's fucking brilliant in this. Yeah, and all the Askia songs are fucking brilliant this season. That's all.
I'm glad you liked it. I still couldn't get past season 1, episode 4. I'm trying, okay? I'm trying. You don't have to say anything.
Okay. Episode 5 is my favorite. I'll just put that.
I know it's your favorite. I'm gonna get to it, but not now. I can't.
Episode 4 is weird in pacing wise, because I really like all the stuff at the banquet, but the whole bit at the end where she kind of just sort of starts spinning in the air with Dooney, and it goes on for a really long time. You're sort of like, what was the point in this? I'm not sure what the point of this was. I don't know. Like I said, there's pacing stuff that's wrong with I think both seasons, but it's far more streamlined in the second season.
Good. At least they.
God, I just love Joey Beatty so much.
All right. Anything else you want to add to that? Or
no, I think I'm good.
Okay.
It's good. Anyway, if anybody wants to talk about Witcher stuff with me, you're welcome to hit me up.
Yeah, right, Katie. I will watch it at one point and we might talk about it, but I can't promise. I'm suffering a little bit on it. I'm not gonna lie. It still didn't convince me, but I'm trying. Okay, I'm trying. I'm getting there.
Yen is my favorite. I love her so much.
I
think the difference with the stuff they've got with Yen in season 1, where she's so angry, compared to where she gets to in season 2, is like, just love her.
Fair.
I love angry women in stuff. like
You do.
righteously right. I'm
That's
like,
true.
ah.
That is true. And to you all out there, thank you for listening to us through this year again. And here for the next year. And happy holidays and
Merry Christmas, Happy
Merry
Kwanzaa.
Christmas.
I believe Hanukkah's already been and gone, but even
Yeah,
still,
that still.
Happy Hanukkah.
Yes. And Happy New Year as well.
And
And we
Happy
love
New
you
Year.
all.
We'll see you in 2022.
2022. Oh God, we love you. Bye.
Look after yourself, friends.